Today's topic is Liftup India 2047. That's a non-profit institution several people and I are looking to create in India. I will introduce today to what the concept is. I had planned to have several people come and comment on it, young people. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, we have only one of them with us today, and that's Harshita Goel. So let me get started with presenting this, and then we'll see some reactions from Harshita. And so that's what it will be. Hang on. Okay, so I think you can now see the video. Yeah. Okay, so Liftup India 2047. We have a logo for it. We don't have a website yet, though it is ready, because we don't want to go ahead and make a big deal of something which is still not shown any results on the ground. So let's get to what it is. So what's the overview of Liftup India 2047? What's the objective? Starting from the very top, the objective is to play a role in making India a well-off country by 2047. So it's not a non-profit institution that has a short-term goal. Rather, it's an institution that has a long-term goal. So within that very broad objective, what is our approach? The approach is, in economic jargon terms, regionally equitable, inclusive economic growth, meaning that we need to attack a little bit of India's model in which people say we have had jobless growth, or if not jobless growth, growth without sufficient number of jobs. Okay, there are some jobs created, but they are not created in sufficient numbers, and we don't have them distributed equally, even across one state, and certainly not across India. And it's not inclusive in the sense that people with low level of skills don't really get a good job. So broadly speaking, it should be regionally equitable. We don't want just one big city or two big cities in a state. We want it to be regionally equitable, inclusive economic growth. So that's jargon, but we need some jargon. So what does that mean? It means create jobs for lower skilled workers so that they also get a chance. We just don't talk of the skilled people who sent the Chandrayaan to the moon, or people who are doing AI or software or ML and such other things, but people who basically perhaps even dropped out after grade 8 because parents need the money. They need the money. They cannot afford to go to the opportunity cost of going to school, especially if it's a bad school where they don't teach much, doesn't make you very productive. People drop out, they become low-skilled workers. And second is promote economic growth of small towns. So much of India, socially, politically, has been focused on villages, which is where the majority of Indians used to live and still live, or on large cities to which they are moving. What has been forgotten in all this is the small towns. So here the focus comes on promote economic growth of small towns. And why small towns? Because it will shift some migration of rural workers who are going to large cities to small towns. The workers will leave the villages, they will leave agriculture. We have 40% of the population in that activity and producing only 15 to 20% of the GDP, and that is not sustainable. And when they go to the large cities, they live in horrible conditions, form slums, and we saw the problem when COVID hit, and they couldn't even afford to live where they were. So we saw the objective, we've seen the approach. Now, where is the implementation? So the implementation, the overall view of implementation is that we will focus on India's 5 economically B states, B as a grade. These 5 states are West Bengal, Odisha, Rajasthan, MP, and Assam. And we may add 1 or 2 more based on opportunities that arise. And just to clarify, according to me, the A states are the 5 South Indian plus Gujarat and Maharashtra. Those are the 5 A states. They have about 30 to 33% of the population, and they produce more than 50% of India's GDP. So they are really the growth states. Just below that are the 5 B states, West Bengal, Odisha, Rajasthan, MP, and Assam. And the belief is that we can really make them, these are the places where we should go and help the small towns develop. We are starting in West Bengal, followed by Rajasthan and Odisha. So though we have listed 5 there, really in the initial effort, we will be in these 3 states, West Bengal, Rajasthan, and Odisha. Other states will come later. How will we do the implementation in each state? In each state, we will select 3 small towns. The 3 states, West Bengal, Rajasthan, and Odisha. These will not be major towns. The population will be in around 1 to 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs is already big for us. So we would really be close to 1 lakh. Maybe we don't have this census of 2021. So we really can't say what the population is. But basically, if you look at the 2011 data, we are talking of a population of around 1 lakh in the towns that we will select. So they would be located in the state's different regions. They will not be close together, and they will be in different parts. So that will correspond to the regionally equitable. So they are in each part of the state. Why 3 towns? Because it's hard to start with 5, and it's just not easy to get going at all with so many things to do. So we select 3 towns. How will we select them? They are not your average towns in that region. They should have reasonable ongoing economic activity. It can't be sort of a dead town. It should have land and water for expansion. We are looking to the future. We are looking to grow these places. So they should have growth potential. Growth potential comes, they're already doing something. Can't be 0. Should have land and water for expansion. So it can't be so tight that there's no way to grow it. It should have reasonable rail, road, and internet so that we can actually do something there. We will see the importance of internet also in this scheme. And it should have reasonable health and education facilities. Reasonable means not specialization. It's not like you need a All India Institute of Medical Science in the state. You need a good low-level hospital. It should be there. Education facilities should be there. So we are looking at the towns and seeing which one of those can meet this criteria. Okay, so, but they are still the small towns. They're 1 lakh in population. They are in different parts of the state, but within that pool, we select on this basis. And then what is our approach in each town? So these are the 3 words that define how our nonprofit institution will be different from any others or most others. Our work will be holistic. So we are not in a particular sector. We are not in education. We are not in handicrafts. We are not in health. We are not in anything. We are out to develop the town. So it's a town-based approach. So in that sense, it's holistic. We are looking at the town as a whole. And actually, we will look at the surrounding rural area also. So while we are not going to be rural-based, we will look at the surrounding rural area. Facilitative. This is a key word. We cannot do anything by ourselves and all of the things. If we want to have overall development, we cannot just do it by ourselves. Facilitative means we facilitate things to happen there, and we will facilitate them in a particular way that I will discuss. And they have to be catalytic. There is something going on there. There's some activity there. There's some people who can do something. We need to catalyze them. So this is a way to be holistic, means to be comprehensive. Facilitative and catalytic means that we will make things happen at low cost, using the existing resources, using the existing people. It's not like we are trying to do everything by ourselves. Cannot happen. But we will facilitate things to happen, and we will catalyze things to happen rather than, so this is a way to be low cost. And to do that, we need to identify the top local opportunities and hurdles in each town. So we don't have a template where we come in and say, listen, this is what we do for small towns. Instead, we come in and say, listen, we will resolve the local issues that are present in that town. What are the local opportunities? We will try to take advantage of those, or actually not take advantage of those, help the local people take advantage of those, and attack the hurdles. So we will work closely with town and district officials, but they don't have to do the work. They are to continue in their normal life. And here's the facilitative part. Bring relevant state, national, and international resources to resolve issues. So we come back and say, listen, in this town, there is a possibility to do this. It's not happening, but it's possible to do it. And then we look to see what are the resources that we can bring from the state, from the union government, the central government in India, or from NGOs or other places, universities, anybody, and international resources, which could be the diaspora, people from the town or the district who have gone abroad. Bring those resources to resolve these issues and take full advantage of all government schemes. There are many schemes run by the central and the state governments, which are not necessarily being run efficiently. The resources are there, but the help is not reaching the local people. We will help the local people take full advantage of all government schemes. So we work with the government officials, we work with the existing schemes, but where there are gaps in those schemes, we bring in resources from the state, the country, and international. What are the challenges and opportunities, broadly speaking, in this town or the cities? It has no single large industry, okay? Nor can you set up a single large industry here. You can't say, listen, let's come in and set up a copper business here. It's not going to happen. Let's set up a software business here, big one. No, it can't happen because they are small towns, don't have the resources. So what that means is that growth will depend upon MSMEs. MSMEs meaning medium, small, and micro enterprises. The government of India has a definition of what is medium, what is small, and what is micro. We will take advantage of the definition, and most of the firms will be small and micro. I think only 2%, 3% of the MSMEs are medium. Mostly they are small and micro. So we will be working with small and micro firms. They are the ones who really can create jobs. And we need to understand the linkages to surrounding rural areas and nearby large cities. These linkages are critical because they provide the demand for the new things that will be produced there, as well as the input. You can sell some in the villages and you can sell some in the big cities, and you can get, if it's agro processing, then you're going to get the inputs from the rural area and other inputs you need from the large cities. So we need to build those linkages. That's if they don't exist, then we can help build them. And the other challenge is modern technologies and investment funds may be limited. So somehow we will have to find a way to bring modern technology to small and micro enterprises and investment funds to small and micro enterprises. And there are very few medium, so that's why I say small and micro, so that they can actually grow. So this is all the theory and the concept. How are we implementing it? We are starting in West Bengal for a variety of reasons. Not all of them are economic. It just we happen to know some people who are interested in these towns, so we're starting there. So as you can see, this is pretty much a map of West Bengal. There's Kolkata down in the south, Jalpaiguri is up north. It's just a little bit north to it is like Nepal, Bhutan, and so on. So Jalpaiguri is way up north in Bengal. Then in the middle, we have a town which in Bengali is called Shuri, but it's often written as Suri because that's how they say it in Hindi. And Paschim Medinipur, which used to be called Midnapur, and then Midnapur split into east and west. And West Midnapur is now Paschim Medinipur, to put it in Bengali. So these are the three towns, and we will begin with Shuri. Again, for various personal reasons, we will begin with Shuri. So we have had 3 team visits to Shuri. First one was in June 2022. Then we had in April and September 2023, September 2023, just recently. Here's a photo of a woman weaver in Shuri. Look at, how labor intensive it is. There's no machine at all. It's a labor intensive. We had initial slow going to find the right kind of people to go there, to find the right team, to build the confidence of the local people, to really first make it happen. So now I think we are ready. We can really hope to get some things done. So what I'm going to do next is to show you the couple of videos to show you what the city of Shuri is like. This first video was taken by our first team in June 2022. They are traveling by cycle rickshaw so that they go through the town slowly so that they can show you what the town is like. And let's see if I can run this video here. It's a short one. Let's see it. Okay, that's a 25-second video, and I saw only 2 cars. So it's obviously not a city. There is a huge number of cars. You see many people on 2-wheelers, motorcycles, and so on. You still see people in bicycles, and you also see some people walking. So that is one continuous video, 25 seconds, which gives you an idea of what Shuri is like. Let's move to the next one, which was taken just a few days ago in September 2023 by a person walking around and taking snippets. So it's not one continuous video, but rather several snippets that have been put together, and you can see what the town is like. So let's see this video.
More buses, you can see they are individually hand painted. The building, multi-story blue-white building, is the district magistrate's office. The building on the right entrance is to the collector's office. The whole area is about 2 square miles. Side road leading away from the main road. Multi-story building for cooperative department. From now onward, on the opposite side is the area reserved for collectorate and associated buildings, including district court, the land, store, and a huge banquet hall.
So you can see that there are a lot of motorcycles. There are no old-fashioned scooters of the type we had, and there are still people walking, few cars, and yet we have a very fancy store. It seems it's run by Reliance, and you also have a big banquet hall. So there is some money in that place, but not a lot of money. So this is the kind of town. So that's the end of the presentation. So let me stop the sharing. So this is a glimpse of Shuri town. It shows you the nature of the place. It's not at all like any of the large cities that we are used to. Hardly any cars, some people on motorcycles, a lot of honking still. Traffic is noisy, the bicycles walking on foot. So it's like India of the big city, like Jaipur, perhaps in 1954, 55, which is when I wasn't in Jaipur at the time, but you can in 1960 there were few cars in Jaipur and there were no more, very few. Okay, so it's really older place, but it doesn't look like dead because after all Reliance has a store, there's a big nice little banquet, so there's some money there. That's when we said economic activity. Of course we had not yet gone to the town, but just by looking at the data from available on the internet, that's how we had selected it. After this video, I will have an interview with the team leader who actually went to Shuri twice in April and September of 2023, and he and I will discuss the opportunities and the possibilities that he has been able to identify working with a local person whose mother and wife still live there, though he works outside in another state. So we have had good local connections and so on. So that's where we are at the moment. I'm just introducing the concept of Lift Up India here and not presenting any details of what we will do. Those will come in future videos. So that's it from me. Let's hear from Harshita what her reaction is.
So, sir, I would first like to congratulate you on this initiative of yours of Lift Up India. I think it is a very good and needed initiative in these times, because what we often come across is that some particular states are often highlighted and rest of them are overlooked. So this approach was needed, the holistic approach, so that these 5B states which you have mentioned, so that they don't remain outliers of our economy, but they become they transit into progress states, and similarly other states can also move forward on the same path. You have also talked about the need for resources, and you would be managing and bringing up resources, and it is very nice initiative because effective utilization of resources is needed, and what we face the problem today is the lack of resources. So I think this will be very beneficial. Also, I think this approach of yours inculcates the spirit of community development, and also it can inspire many other people to take up such initiatives, and this will help in boosting the economy. And as a distinctive thing which I could see about your institution of this program was that it has a long-term goal. Most of the NGOs take up short-term goals, and these goals are not generated into a very high economic impact, but this long-term vision would transit into the needed efficiency which we would be focusing on for these states. And I hope positive results are generated by these steps of yours.
Okay, we don't have a stated goal, but privately we think we should be able to double the population of the city in 10 years. It can't double just from local births. It should be enough jobs created that people from the surrounding areas move here. And in effect, we hope to have initially slow economic growth and then rapid economic growth. City can expand. And in our view, if we expand the city as we make the buildings, they should be energy efficient and modern and so on. And we will also try to get people with traffic expertise so that the traffic problems don't come up in the future. Water is not a problem because there's a river nearby. And so that provides, and much of the nearby agricultural land will have to give way to the city. So it looks like we can do some things here. And then, we hope to go to Medinipur and then to Jalpaiguri. And in 2024, hopefully also to move to Rajasthan and Odisha and see where we can go. And in 5 years, optimistically, to be in 5 states and 12 cities each, so 60 towns in 5 years. Though we don't work to target, we don't work to deadline, but just to keep ourselves motivated, we think of these targets. And we are looking for support and help from young people who can help us in any way that is possible. Of course, the theory is all done, but in the end, it's the results that count. And the practical people will have freedom to do what actually works rather than to be guided just by the theory. We start with the idea, it's holistic, facilitative, and catalytic. But actually, I am not going to be involved in running the show. I'm only an advisor. I'm not going to run the show. The people who are there, the local people in India and in the cities themselves, they are going to make the crucial decisions on how this will happen. Now, this is all a dream at the moment, but if you don't have a dream, there's no hope for you. So this is the dream that we actually work our way. And then if we can succeed, one way to deepen is to go to smaller towns, which is, say, 50,000 people, so that we actually cover the part that is not present in any government document that I've seen, and that is to district capitals and taluka headquarters, etc., because focus is on villages. But as my view is that the people will leave the villages, where do they go? This is where I hope they will go, and they will have, with lower income, a reasonable quality of life. So that's it from me. I've made my presentation, and I've heard from Harshita, and we may actually have a panel discussion about this with other young people at an appropriate time, so that while they couldn't come here, we can have a separate panel discussion. Okay, so let's end it here today, Harshita, and thanks for being present in everything that I do for so much. It's really good to have you with us. Okay, so let's say bye. Okay, we end it here today. Okay, bye.